you've fallen out of routine with your movement practice, this is just going to be something that helps you kickstart yourself back into that routine. It's not going to be long. It's not going to be too strenuous. Let's just get onto the mat and start moving again. So when you're ready, let's get you to lie onto your back and rest yourself down, making sure there's nothing behind the back of your head. We're going to be going into a lift of the hips, so that's important that nothing is behind you. If you are someone whose head is tilted all the way up like that, then maybe you do need to put something behind the back of your head. So just setting yourself up, feeling how you are along the mat. And let's start with a gentle roll of the pelvis into the floor and then rolling it away. So as you're doing that, you're going to notice that your lower back will be into imprinting. And then as you roll your pelvis forward beyond your neutral, you'll create a nice big hollow space behind you. So just rocking that motion backward and forward. And then we're going to move that into your bridge. So just rolling through the back of the bones, coming up into the air, and then rolling yourself down again. Go forward again into the arch. So we're going to make these into our maximum moves. So curling back and bringing the hips up high and then rolling the body down and then taking those hips forward, creating that bend in your upper or lower back. So we'll do about 2 more times like that, just getting into a flow of moving. You know, sometimes when we work out in Pilates, we're very rigid with what we say you can and can't do. But at the end of the day, we need to be able to move in all our ranges as long as we're safe in those ranges. Come back to find yourself into a balanced and settled position and send the arms all the way over for a nice big stretch out. Double check that you haven't let your ribs flare off of the floor, but keeping the back of the ribs settled, and make sure your arms are not dropped to the ground. If you do that, you're not actually doing the work. So we want the arms to be up. We want the arms to be sunk down into the shoulders and feel alive with energy. We're going to go back into the bridge now, raising the hips up, pull the arms down towards your sides, and then move the arms overhead as the pelvis comes back. We're going to do another 2. As you lift the hips up, feel like you're pushing down through something heavy, or if you've ever worked on a reformer like one next to me, you can imagine that your arms were in the springs, pulling the springs down and then raising them over again. This next time we're going to come up and we're going to stay in the air. Your arms are going to be down at your side again, and you're going to raise your left leg up into the sky. So we're going to have your leg at a tabletop shape. Flex your foot and we're going to lower to tap your heel down, 1, and return. And lifting and lowering for 4 in a row. 2 more, and just making sure that the height of the pelvis is as balanced as possible. And then lowering your foot completely down towards the ground. Lower your hips down, send the arms over, take a breath in, and then breathing out again, roll the hips up, press the arms down. So here, as we lift onto the other leg now, make sure that pelvic position is balanced. Flex your foot, and we're lowering and lifting the heel for 4 in a row. So noticing if you are not pushing strong enough through your standing leg, you're going to drop your hips. So we want to make sure that that doesn't happen. Lower your foot back down towards the ground. Again, the hips are going down to the floor and the arms are traveling over. We've got 1 more time as we bring the pelvis up, the arms go down. Now we're going to do an alternating leg lift. So raising a leg up into the air, place it down and switch to the other side. So again, we're going to do 4 to each side. So a little bit more intense as we are here, just keeping the hips up into the air. And I know I said in the beginning this wasn't going to be a challenging series, but you know, these are things we should be able to do strength-wise, even if you've had a few weeks off of your movement practice. And then lowering everything back down again, stretch the arms back behind you. Lace your fingers, slide them to the back of your head, elbows pointing on a diagonal corner. And then from here, we're going to curve the top of the head forward, looking towards the middle of your legs, and then lowering yourself back down. So the elbows are staying in their same position. I'm not pulling them in closer. I'm not widening them apart. I'm keeping them in the same place so that I can get the feeling of my head fully supported. As I roll the body up, there's the feeling of the back of the ribs opening up to get more expansion, more space between them. And then down. What I'm not doing is curling my tail towards me as I roll up. That's a common thing that most people do. We want to make sure that we're not gripping through the fronts of those hip flexors, again, Too many people do that too often. So we're going to curl up and we're going to stay in the lift, and then we're going to bring a leg up and then another leg up. From here, let's put both hands onto the top of your left leg and slide your right leg away. Give yourself an extra little pull of your leg towards you and you towards your leg, and then switch legs over. So as we're breathing out, we're stretching a leg away. So if I stop talking and focus on my breath, it's going to be a kind of movement. And we've got another 4 and 3 and 2 and 1, and bringing it all the way back down again, resting towards the floor. We're going to amp it up just a little bit. I love it when I say things aren't going to be challenging and then the inspiration just takes me somewhere different. So from here, both hands are onto the tops of the shins and curve your head and shoulders forward. From here, we send the right arm back and the right leg forward. And then you're going to circle the arm and draw that knee back in. Change sides to the left, reach it away and circle it back and pull. And again, right side reach and around. Now you could do this whole series with your head down on the mat, especially if you're feeling vulnerable in your neck. One more time to each side. In this position, you will feel your lower back is naturally imprinted onto the floor, and that's important to secure your lower back. And then resting your body towards the mat surface. Take a hold of the backs of the legs, nod the head and shoulders forward, and roll yourself up into sitting. We're going to tuck those legs in nice and close towards you, just grabbing onto the fronts of the ankles. If this is a bit bulky to hold at the front of the ankles, you can always start at the backs of the thighs. Make yourself into a ball shape, which means you're going to tuck your head in, tuck your tail under, and we're going to roll back onto our shoulders and then roll forward again. So we're going to inhale as we roll back, don't squash your dog, and curve forward, exhale, beep, and inhale back and exhale front. Let's do 2 more times. Inhale back, exhale front. He's keeping me honest, that's for sure. So I'm not letting my head rest onto the mat surface, and I've got a really good deep abdominal contraction. Last time, and then coming up. We're going to add on, this is called our seal. You open your legs out into a diamond shape, take hold of your ankles, and then we do the same movement. You tilt backwards, balance onto the back of the shoulders, and then come back up again. And again, we go back and we go forward. We're going to add in a couple of claps of your feet if you're up for it. As we go back, we pause, we clap 1, 2, 3, and then roll up and clap 1, 2, 3. Let's do that again. Send ourselves back, clap 2, 3. Send ourselves forward, clap 2, 3. Last time, in each direction, clap, 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 and clap, clap, clap. From here, we're going to spin around and come onto all fours. This is the moment where I'm going to put my hair up and out of the way so that it doesn't get all bothered. So in this shape, we're going to come to place our hands underneath our shoulder line and our knees underneath our hip line. Someone is very vigorous today. So from this position, we're going to make sure that you're pushed up away from the floor, not collapsed between the shoulders. And then let's send out your right arm and your left leg. So reaching them away, finding your nice long position, and then bringing them back in. Switch to the other side as you reach long and return. So your aim in these moves is to keep your trunk as still as possible and just feel the extension of your legs out and your arms forward. We've got 1 more time each side, nice and simple movement. And then bringing it in, and then again to the opposite. So from here, we're going to go into same arm, same leg, which you know is a little bit more challenging. So send your right leg away from you. Do a slight lean over to the left side and reach your your right arm out in front as well. So we're going to stay here just for a few breaths, and then we're going to bring everything back down, hand down, knee down. Change to the other side, left leg goes away. Slight lean to the right. Make sure you're up and out of your arm. You don't want to be collapsed, otherwise you will be down on that ground so fast. And then hand down and leg down. We're going to do that slowly again. Right leg first. Right arm reaches out in front. Important that your eyes are looking down, just maybe in front of your hand position, so we're not looking forward towards whatever is in front of you. And then again, left leg out and left arm out. So feeling nice and strong through these moves. And then bringing hand down, bringing knee down. It's going to tucking the toes, again staying nice and strong in your upper body. Hover the two knees away from the mat and then lower the knees back down. So as we're bringing our knees off of the ground, we've got great support around the center of us, making sure that you're not trying to lift up higher in your upper body. Your upper body is staying pretty much where it was, and we're just hovering the knees off and the knees down. You have 2 more of these to go. Lift and lower. And then last one, lift. And we're going to hold the lift up. From here, you're just going to push yourself back towards your thighs, get a nice stretch through your arms. You are not going to have your heels down on the floor. This is just a nice stretch through the shoulder line. And then bring yourself forward to the hover of your knees. And again, send your hips backwards, send your arms into a straight line, reaching long, and then forward. I'm still keeping my knees off of the ground each time I travel forward. If you feel like you need to rest your knees down, then go ahead and do that. And to the front. We have 1 more to go as we send the hips up towards the ceiling. Hold your position here and then aim one heel down to the floor as best as you can. The other leg will be bent and you'll be up on your toes. And then you're going to come back into that position we were just in and switch legs. So heels stretching down, getting a beautiful length through the back of the leg into the calf. And then again, alternating sides. So you don't have to do exercises fast in order for you to get good benefit. So in fact, sometimes the slower we do something, the more deliberate, the more enjoyment we get out of it. And then coming all the way forward and resting your knees down. Let's slide through onto the belly. And as we're here, we're just going to have your arms at a right angle shape. Allow your toes to face in towards each other and just nod your head forward. So the front of the head is facing down to the mat. We're going to start with that little lift of the front of the chest, peeling away from the floor surface. So staying here, nice and easy, we're going to slide one arm out in front of you, pull it back in, and then slide the other arm out and pull it back. And then we roll the chest down. And we repeat, peeling the front of the chest up. Now, see if you can remember which arm went out first and change that hand. Out it goes, in it comes, out it goes, and in it comes, and then down. So we've got 2 more of these to do in total. As we lift up, again, start with your original hand moving away and back, and away and back, and then going back down. Final move to make. Feel the front of the chest lifted nice and light and free. Lower ribs are really staying as your base point. And then just the stretch of the arms without letting your shoulders get all entangled and stretched out. Take the hands, clasp them behind your back and turn your head towards the side. Nice big breath in, and then you're going to stretch the arms all the way back behind you. Palms face towards the back of your head as you bring your chest away from the ground, and then turn your head in the opposite way as you lower back to the mat. And then again, lifting the front of the chest up, reach the fingers back and away, opening through the collars, and then lowering yourself down. Again, we'll do 1 more time to each side, turning your head from the side to the center, and then to the side. And then the last time as we bring it all the way up and then turning your head again to the side. Let's bring the arms down in front of you into a forearm position, kind of like a Sphinx pose. And from here, without collapsing through your shoulders, just lift your chest bone up and away. So you want to feel like you could lie there underneath your chest area and not squash them. From here, we're going to take your right leg and we're going to kick it heel in 1, 2, and then stretch your leg out long. And then the left heel, kick, kick, and stretch the leg. So as you're stretching the leg, it doesn't have to lift off of the floor, but the kneecap will be just like it's coming away from the ground surface. Making sure that the back of your spine feels good, long. You don't want to feel like you are scrunching in your lower back. 1 more kick to each side. And kicking the left and reaching it away. All right, from here, we're just going to put hands underneath you and press you up and reach back towards your feet. Nice stretch out of the back body. Coming into a sitting position. Now, the sit position is entirely up to you. This is about a side bend of your back, so I want you to make sure that you feel comfortable in your seat, which means you could be on a chair, you could be standing to do this as a variation. So we're sending the arms out to the side. I'm in a cross of my legs, and we're going to lower our hand down to the side and have a nice big reach across to one way, and then come up and reach across towards the other way. Now, depending on which leg you have folded forward in front of you, you might feel some different sensations as we go from side to side. And as you do that, remember to keep your hip grounded underneath you. And then when we go to the first side again, or your original side, will stay there, hold your position, and we're going to go into rotation. So you're going to twist your chest down to look toward the mat, and then back to the side. Let's come up, and we'll do that to the opposite side. So we go over, and we twist the chest toward the floor, back to the side, and come up. We're going to do something magical now, and we're going to cross the legs in the opposite way. So whichever one was forward now goes backward. And then again, we're going to set ourselves up nice and tall, and we'll go again off to a side, going into that side bend reach, and then over to the opposite way. So you'll be surprised perhaps that with every time we change our leg crossing, things feel different in the body because you have one side that's easier or more comfortable to be on. So when you cross over, you notice that there's a difference. Hold your side position, and we're going to add that twist. So rotating down, back to the side and up, and then we'll do the same to the opposite way. Out, down, to the side, and back to the top. All right, from here, we're going to go back onto an all fours position, hands and knees shape. And what we're going to do is take your right hand and place it behind the back of your head. From here, you're going to lower your elbow to the ground, bending into the left, and then raising yourself up, twist to look in the direction of the ceiling. So we lower down, tap the elbow to the mat, bending into the left side, and then straightening the left arm and rotating up. We'll do that 2 more times as we tap and lift. Now, when you're doing your rotation, it's really important that you don't shift your hips with you, but you keep your hips stacked on your pelvis. Last time, lifting up and then bringing it down. Now, this is a little bit more challenging to do, so if you ever need to, you can do it with a full arm and going into your thread the needle version, but this is a great challenge. So lowering the elbow down, bending off to the side, and then coming up and rotating to look. So I don't have a lot of rotation as I do the lift position, and I'm not bothered by that because I'm more interested in everything else that is going on in my body. Like, am I holding my upper body steady? Am I keeping my lower body steady? Last time as we go to each direction, twist and lift, and then bringing yourself all the way back down. From here, we're going to take a lie down onto your back again. Now, this one might be a good time to have a towel behind you, especially if we get tight through the back of the hips, and take your clip out from behind. And we're going to go into a cross leg. So ankle over your thigh, bringing your leg toward you, holding on either back of the thigh, front of the shin. I like to do a nice big reach over the top of my leg, just getting a little bit more pressure down into the back of the hip. So you just got to pick what feels the best for you. Just taking a breath or two into that. And sometimes we don't give ourselves enough time to actually be in the stretch. We're always thinking, oh, I've got to do something. But really, you don't. You just have to be here and let your body unwind as it needs to, how it needs to. And then we're going to switch over to the opposite side. So crossing ankle over thigh. Again, choose. Do you want to be at the back of the thigh, the front of the thigh, or an arm draped over the top? And no one is better than the other. What's better is that you find the one that gives you the place to surrender into the stretch and not be tense. You don't want your head tilted. You want the back of the neck as long as possible. Always find that the longer we're here, the more depth we get out of that stretch. So don't be afraid to feel that. All right, and then undoing that, lie your legs all the way out, stretched from you. We're just going to finish with a little ankle movement. So pulling your toes towards you and sending your toes away. So just getting a little bit of movement through from the ankles coming up. If you don't know about it, this is your lymphatic system getting a little bit of release. And then let's do alternating. So we'll pull one up and we'll push one away, and just doing your little ankle pumps like so. And we'll go for a couple more, and then I could leave you here. And I will. So enjoy the rest of your day. I hope that just gave you a bit of inspiration to get back into a routine if you have been out of one. And remember, just a little bit of movement every day will make you feel amazing, and it'll just give you that extra spur to want to do more. So remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, do all those wonderful things. And I hope to see you in a new video coming your way soon. Bye.